this week we've been considering the body. Today we're going to think about self-care. Your body matters. Indeed, it is matter and it is you. Your body is your presentation to the world and it is the only one you've got, and hence it is important that you treat it well. So today I want to quickly look at the 10 tips on how you can practice self-care, which is essentially about creating healthy habits. Many of us have developed unhealthy habits. The good news is that we can change them. So, tip number 1, you are what you eat. Food is more than fuel. What we feed ourselves will affect us. Eating a balanced diet and reducing the junk increases well-being. Filmmaker Morgan Spurlock ate 3 meals a day at McDonald's for 30 days. He gained almost 2 stone in weight and was told he suffered from irreversible heart damage. Now most of us will not do that, but it is an example to show us how balanced eating is good for us. So tip number 2, keep hydrated. Make sure you regularly drink water with the bonus that it is free. In my family home we installed a new fridge in our kitchen with a water filter and ice maker. Just adding cool water has encouraged my children to foster a healthy habit of drinking water. Tip number 3, sleep hygiene. Your body and mind gets tired, and when we generate a healthy sleep routine, our body and mind will feel more rested. This is one of those really important habits to work on. When we have a regular pattern, time to go to bed, and following the same rituals or routines, sleep becomes easier. Many people today are suffering with insomnia or sleep disturbance, which can be awful. Part of my routine is always to read once I'm in bed, often a boring book which will aid me going to sleep. A difficult but important practice is to remove or turn off those devices. Tip number 4, exercise. Many of us are not moving enough. We can easily live sedentary lives, looking at screens and developing bad posture. The pandemic and lockdown has certainly made this harder. How can we find a way of exercising? 5 years ago, I did 2 things. We brought a dog into the family and I became a keen cyclist. Now every day I walk my dog and twice a week I'm on my bike, aiming to do about 60 miles a week. What would help you to exercise more? Tip number 5, maintain friendships. Lockdown has generated physical isolation and people more than ever are feeling lonely and isolated. This is really difficult for many people and is affecting their emotional health. Friendship takes energy, honesty and time, and for us to develop good friends, then we will have to be committed to giving time to developing friends and relationships. Tip number 6, self-talk. Being aware of how you talk to yourself is really important. Many of us give ourselves a hard time with our inner chatter, being negative with ourselves, putting ourselves down. Talking to ourselves is absolutely normal, and I would encourage it. We need to practice positive self-talk, which means letting ourselves off the hook, treating ourselves with compassion, being kind and positive in the way we talk to ourselves. This can be a hard skill, but is an important self-care discipline. Tip number 7, develop emotional fitness. We benefit when our body and mind is healthy. Being emotionally fit means we have to exercise our emotional muscles. So give attention to your feelings, label them, feel them, and allow them to disperse. When we are emotionally fit, we are able to feel and express the right feeling at the right time in the right way. Tip number 8, use all your senses. Seeing has become the dominant sense. We need to give other senses attention as well. Hearing is probably in second place. What about smell, touch and taste? I love watching my dog follow her nose. It is amazing how she picks up scents, finds yet another tennis ball and is just happy following her nose. Many of us are struggling with loss of touch and contact due to COVID. But how can we develop a practice using other senses? One of the things I've learned through lockdown is making sourdough bread, and I love smelling freshly made bread. Practice treating all of your senses. Tip number 9, spend more time outside. Everything about being outside is good for you. Now again, being outside, engaging in team sports and organised activities has been difficult during COVID. But just being in the garden will give your senses a treat. 50 years ago, 90% of leisure time was spent outdoors. Now, 90% of our leisure time is spent indoors. I wonder if this has been part of the rise in mental health difficulties. Get outside as much as you can. Tip number 10, reduce screen time. It is recommended that we use screens for less than 2 hours a day. Many will use them for at least 8 hours a day for leisure and work. This has created a sedentary lives, being indoors, reduction of sensor spectrum and poor posture, headaches, etc. This is a really difficult issue to challenge and change. This is why being outside is really important. Check in with your screen usage and see what you can adjust. Change is difficult, but if we can develop some healthy self-care habits now, you will get a big payback physically and emotionally. Love your body and mind by adding a few of these tips to your weekly life. Thank you for listening.